Have you ever read the Bible and come across mysterious passages that made you curious? If so, this video is for you. Today, we're going to explore 3 of the strangest and most mysterious deaths in the Bible that still puzzle scholars and Christians alike today. Stay until the end, I'm sure the last death will get you to surprise you. Number 1, Lot's wife. The death of Lot's wife was different from any other. A Lot's wife is an anonymous woman mentioned only a few times in the Bible. She died prematurely as a result of her disobedience to the Lord's word. We know more about the story of Lot's wife's death than anything else about her. Lot was sitting at the entrance to Sodom when 2 angels approached and Lot offered them a place to spend the night. The angels refused because they wanted to spend the night on the street, but they ended up agreeing and followed Lot, who provided food. That night, however, all the men of Sodom heard of the angels and surrounded Lot's house. "Where are the men who came to you tonight?" they cried. The angels lured Lot inside and closed the door, then blinded the wicked so that they could not find the door of the house. The angels told Lot to gather his family and leave Sodom. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to like it, and if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. As soon as possible, Lot warned his sons-in-law, but they ignored his advice. When daylight came, the angels reminded Lot that judgment was at hand and that he must get his wife and daughters out of the city if they were to be saved. "Flee to the mountains and save yourselves. Don't look back or stop in the valley, otherwise, you will be destroyed," said one of the angels as they fled the city. Then the Lord poured out brimstone and fire from heaven on Sodom and Gomorrah, overthrowing those cities and the whole plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and everything that grew on the ground. As the cities were being destroyed, Lot's wife looked back and was turned into a pillar of salt. Genesis 19:26. The Lot and his 2 daughters escaped to a city in the adjacent mountains. According to biblical interpretations, Lot's wife was turned into a pillar of salt for breaking the instruction not to look back. Her actions indicate that she sympathized with the people of Sodom, and her failure to escape God's wrath served as a clear warning to others. Second, we have Moses, the man God buried. God chose to withhold information about the events leading up to Moses' death. The mere mention of the name Moses awakens different images in the minds of many people. In the Bible, the death of Moses is shrouded in mystery. He died at the age of 120, but his eyes were not dim and his strength was not gone. Moses was still in his prime when he was called away. Despite his age, Moses asked to enter the promised land, but, due to his disobedience at the waters of Meribah, he led the Israelites to the edge of Canaan and was given a vision of the land but not allowed to enter it. Pisgah Mountain has an elevation of approximately 4,500 feet, which is equivalent to almost a mile. There aren't many 120-year-old men who can climb a mile-high mountain and live to tell the tale. He was very aware that he was about to expire at any moment. When it comes to the subject of death, Moses teaches us that a believer has no reason to be afraid or panic. Death is an inevitable part of reality for each of us. Before we are prepared to live, we must be prepared to die. As Moses enjoyed this last vision of the promised land, a property he would never set foot in, the Lord said, "This is the land which I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, Thy seed I will give thee. I showed you with my own eyes, but you will not go in there." Moses, the servant of the Lord, died in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord. He died alone, but in peace. The account of his death is contained in the last 6 verses of the 34th chapter of the book of Deuteronomy. After death comes burial, as was the case with Moses, but verse 6 contains one of the most remarkable statements of Moses' entire career, "And he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, opposite Beth-peor, and no one knows the place of his burial to this day." Deuteronomy 34:6. Moses is the only person in the Bible that God personally buried. This was because this tomb would have been converted into a sanctuary, where people would worship Moses' tomb, so it was hidden. This was so crucial to the Lord that it even provoked an angelic dispute. Jude verse 9 contains one of the strangest accounts of this event in the Bible. Jude writes, "But when the archangel Michael, disputing with the devil, disputed concerning the body of Moses, he did not dare to bring a curse judgment against him, but said, The Lord rebuke thee." Like the story of Moses, since then there has been no other prophet in Israel who could be compared to Moses, whom the Lord knew personally. This is because of all the miracles and signs that the Lord commanded Moses to perform in the land of Egypt, against Pharaoh, his servants, and the entire land, as well as the great terror and mighty power that Moses displayed before all Israel. Moses was unique, but at the end of the day, he was just a man serving God. Number 3, Prophet Eli. Eli was the high priest at the time of Samuel's youth. In addition to the priesthood, Eli also served as a judge of Israel for 40 years. Eli's death came amid a true tragedy. At the time, the Israelites were at war with the Philistines, and Eli's sons carried the Ark of the Covenant into battle as a kind of amulet. However, the Israelite army suffered a heavy defeat, and the 2 sons of Eli who held the ark were killed, while the sacred object was captured by the enemies. Eli was sitting on a chair by the wayside, his heart sinking, especially because of the ark of the Lord that was in the battle. He probably knew that his wicked sons couldn't be in charge of the ark without something bad happening. By that time, he had already lost his sight. So a messenger from the tribe of Benjamin went to him and told him the bad news. The messenger reported that his sons were dead and that the ark had been taken. Upon receiving the news about the loss of the ark, Eli fell from the chair and broke his neck. The Bible reports that he was old and heavy. Maybe that's why he broke his neck. High priest Eli died at the age of 98. Did you like this video? Comment down here. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. God bless you.